Hey, what's good, superstars? It's Ibetonme. Today we're talking about this little menace right here, the Destiny 2 modified B-7. And I'm gonna be real with you guys, this thing is way better than it has any right to be. So in this video, I'm gonna give you guys a no fluff, no 10-minute stat lecture, just is it actually worth a slot or is it just YouTube bait? So let's roll the gameplay and let's get into it. So the modified B-57 is a stasis hand cannon and it's at 180 rounds per minute. So it lives in that why would I use this over my mains category. You look at it in your collections and it just screams, I'm gonna sit in your vault collecting dust. Cause right now you already got several S tier hand cannons such as the Rose, Ace, and many more. So at this current Destiny 2 moment, we're not starving for hand cannon. So for this thing to matter, it actually has to do something different. Not just, oh wow, I got a roll to add +2 to my range. And to be honest, that's where it really surprised me. Now you could get the modified B-7 from the Renegades campaign as part of the Lawless Frontier gear set. This weapon is under the new Destiny 2 archetype called the Dynamic Heat Weapon. So you get higher base damage, increased damage versus powerful combatants. However, the weapon does heat up, so you have to reload to vent the weapon from the heat. Plus this weapon comes with 2 origin traits. The first origin trait is Accelerated Assault, which is very good for PvE, because when you deal more damage you get ammo from reserves, also removes heat and increases your damage. Next is Air Cooled Core, which is very good for PvP. Sprinting increases the vent or the reload speed for a short time, and it helps you increase handling, movement speed while aiming down sights. Now off the rip, the first thing you're going to feel with the B-57 is how easy it is to keep on target. So the recoil is super predictable, the bounce is light, and it doesn't fight you the way that some 140s do. And the aim assist cone feels very generous. The hit registration feels sticky, and you see a lot of it in these clips. Now it's not a raw stat monster on paper, but in actual gunfights, man, it feels way more forgiving than it looks. So if you're someone who misses a bullet here and there, this archetype low-key carries you. And as you can see from the background gameplay, a lot of these games are in the competitive playlist. And I paired the B-57 with a great sniper and a good rocket launcher, and in those 3 competitive gameplays, I averaged a 6.0 KD combined. So surprisingly, this weapon handled itself very well in competitive and also regular Crucible gameplay. Alright, so let's talk PvE first, because that's where B-57 pulls some real weight. Now the role you're looking for is all about ad clear and uptime. So for the barrel, think like corkscrew rifling, and for the battery, think enhanced heat sink. For the first perk, think explosions and splash damage, so you want to go with Firefly. And for the big value perk in column number 2, go with something like Headstone or whatever your stasis ignite synergy is. On the screen right now, you can see the B-7 cleaning up red bars. Now this is not pretending to be some raid boss killer, but with the right roll, you're chaining kills, you're spawning explosions or crystals, and it turns into a room clear pistol. Now it feels amazing in seasonal content, low to mid tier nightfalls, anything where enemies come in waves. So if you like pairing stasis or solo explosions with a build, this thing slots in very well. Now is this replacing your god roll primary in a GM? Probably not. But if you're bored of running the same 3 weapons in PvE, B-7 is actually a fun, legit option. Now PvP is where I went from, okay, this weapon is cute, to, okay, hold on, this might be a problem. So for Crucible, I'll chase a roll with like hammer forged rifling or small bore for your barrel. For your battery, I would go with projection fuse to add +10 to your range. Then something like keep away in the first column so you can add more range to the weapon. And in the last column, I'll go with what I call your dual winning perk. Either go with opening shot or go with Eye of the Storm. Basically anything that can help you secure those 3 taps. Also, I have heard of a stasis build that can help you get a 2 tap with this weapon and get a 0.4 TTK. That was posted on Twitter, versely known as X, by a Destiny 2 player called Jingleheimer. So I'll leave a tweet down below if you want to go check it out after you watch this video. And who knows, I might make a follow-up video with that build and also give him credit like I always give people credit. Alright, so I've digressed a little. Let's get back into the review. If you could get a god roll version of this weapon, just know your time to kill will be very competitive, especially once you start landing all your crit shots, which is the headshots. And because the gun is so stable and forgiving, you're actually going to see the TTK more often than you expected. Now this isn't one of those technically good if you're never miss weapon. It actually helps out even in messy fights. And add in stasis tie-ins if you're running that subclass and it start doing some very annoying things to other teams. Now, it's a simple reason why this weapon is slept on. It's because it's a 180 rounds per minute hand cannon and they don't have the clout right now. Because people open their vault and they see the Rose, the Ace, the other top tier hand cannons, and they never give this thing a fair shot. But in these mid-range lanes against average players, oh yeah, this thing absolutely farms. Alright, so let's keep it 100 and stack it up against the usual suspect. Is the modified B-57 better than any of the other S-tier hand cannons in Destiny 2? No, chill. Those guns are still the king if you're min-maxing for trials or comp sweats. But ask a different question. If put in the hands of an average player, do they do better? And there, I think the B-7 has a real argument. Because it's easier to control, it forgives bad lanes a little bit more, and when you get your roll on point, it wins some of the fights you probably have no business winning. For most players living in Control, Iron Banner, Quick Play, and the occasional comp gameplay, this is absolutely viable and genuinely fun. Now, it's not a YouTuber's only stat stick, it's something you can equip and immediately feel the difference. So is Destiny 2's most slept on hand cannon actually worth your time? If you're strictly a trial sweat with a perfect Rose and 1,000 hours of reps, this probably is just a side grade toy for you. But if you're bored of the same 3 primaries and you want a hand cannon that's forgiving, build friendly, and low-key nasty in the right hands, like someone like myself, oh yeah, you should 100% at least try the modified B-7. And in PvE it's very fun, especially if you get an explosive roll that becomes an ad clearer. And in PvP, it's a sleeper that punishes people who disrespects 180s. Now, I wouldn't dismantle my meta primaries for it, but I also wouldn't sleep on it like a lot of the Destiny 2 player base clearly had. Now, if Bungie ever decides to show this thing some love, maybe like a tiny archetype bump, or giving it one truly cracked perk combination, this thing could go from, oh that's nice, to why is this allowed in Crucible, real quick. You guys remember how the Now Forgotten used to bust Destiny 2 PvP? But for now, it lives in that sweet spot, strong enough to be worth using, not quite broken enough to be your trial card only weapon. So let me know in the comments if you've actually tried a roll on this, or if it's been sitting in your vault collecting dust. So if you want more no BS weapon breakdowns like this, hit that like, sub if you're new, and I'll keep calling things out when Bungie drops them. And I'll catch you in the next one. And if you do want to see more of my Destiny 2 God roll guides and weapon reviews, I would suggest you watch this playlist next. Also, don't forget to like and sub. You guys have a blessed day. Peace.